Right now we are on aircrafts and finishes, and I'm gonna have my assistant read for me. This is what I have to read.
Aircraft finishes, 15 questions, in list, 17 items. Tap to activate.
Okay, so if at any point you guys feel that I'm going too fast, you guys can always pause it. If you guys feel that I'm going too slow, you guys can always fast forward. So try to answer the question before I do, and at the same time, don't like and subscribe. This is so you guys don't forget my channel, and makes it easier so that you guys can study, and I have all the subjects. So okay, so let's begin.
Question 1 of 15. Aluminum pigment in dope is used primarily to not selected, reflect ultraviolet from the fabric, radio selected, EXPL. Aluminum pigmented dope contains tiny flakes of aluminum metal that spread out to form a solid, light-proof film over the coats of clear dope. The aluminum dope prevents the ultraviolet rays from the sun damaging the fabric and the coats of clear dope. Okay. Next. Question 2 of 15. What is likely to occur if unhydrated wash primer is applied to unpainted aluminum and then about 30 to 40 minutes later a finished topcoat, when the humidity is low? Not selected, corrosion. Selected. EXPL. Wash primer requires moisture to convert the phosphoric acid into a protective film on the surface of the metal. If unhydrated primer without enough water to affect the cure, is applied, and within 30 to 40 minutes it is covered with a dense film of a finish such as a polyurethane, there is a good probability that filiform corrosion will form under the polyurethane. Okay. Next. Question 3 of 15. Which type of coating typically includes phosphoric acid as one of its components at the time of application? Not selected, wash primer. Selected. EXPL. Wash primer is a two-part primer that contains phosphoric acid to etch the surface of the metal to improve the bond between the surface and the topcoats. Okay. Next. Question 4 of 15. Which properly applied finish topcoat is the most durable and chemical resistant? Not selected, polyurethane. Selected. EXPL. Polyurethane is the most durable of all of the finishes that are used for modern aircraft. It is noted for its chemical resistance and for its famous, wet look, that is caused by its slow flow-out time. Okay. Next. Question 5 of 15. A correct use for acetone is to not selected, remove grease from fabric, EXPL. Acetone is a fast evaporating dope solvent that is suitable for removing grease from fabric prior to doping. It is also used for cleaning paint spray guns and as an ingredient in paint and varnish removers. Okay. Next. Question 6 of 15. Which of the following is a hazard associated with sanding on fabric-covered surfaces during the finishing process? Not selected, static electricity buildup. Selected. EXPL. When dry sanding a fabric-covered surface, be sure to electrically ground it to a cold water pipe or some other good electrical ground. Rubbing the sandpaper over the surface will generate enough static electricity that a spark could be caused to jump and ignite the highly flammable fumes inside the structure. Reference: AMTSTRUC Chapter 3. Okay. Next. Question 7 of 15. Before applying a protective coating to any unpainted clean aluminum, you should not selected, avoid touching the surface with bare hands. Selected. EXPL. It is important when preparing a bare metal surface for painting that, after it has been cleaned, you do not touch it with your bare hands. There is enough oil on the surface of your skin that it can contaminate the surface enough that the finish will not adhere. Reference. Okay. Next. Question 8 of 15. Which defect in aircraft finishes may be caused by adverse humidity, drafts, or sudden changes in temperature? Not selected, blushing. Selected. EXPL. Blushing is a condition in dope or lacquer finishes in which moisture from the atmosphere condenses on the surface and causes some of the cellulose to precipitate from the finish. Blushing leaves a porous, dull, and weak finish. Blushing may be caused by the temperature being too low, the humidity being too high, or by drafts or sudden changes in temperature. Reference: AMTSTRUC Chapter 3. Okay. Next. Question 9 of 15. If masking tape is applied to an aircraft such as for trim spraying, and is left on for several days and or exposed to heat, it is likely that the tape will not selected, cure to the finish and be very difficult to remove. Selected. EXPL. Masking tape should be removed from a surface as soon as the finish has dried to the extent that it is no longer tacky. If the masking tape should be removed from a surface as soon as the finish has dried to the extent that it is no longer tacky. If the tape is left on the surface too long, it will cure to the finish and be extremely difficult to remove. Okay. Next. Question 10 of 15. Which statement is true regarding paint system compatibility? Not selected. Old wash primer coats may be overcoated directly with epoxy finishes. Radio button. Selected. EXPL. Old wash primer coats may be overcoated directly with epoxy finishes. A second coat of wash primer, however, must be applied to the surface if an acrylic finish is to be applied. Reference: AMTSTRUC Chapter 3. Okay. Next. Question 11 of 15. What is likely to occur if hydrated wash primer is applied to unpainted aluminum and then about 30 to 40 minutes later a finished topcoat, when the humidity is low? Not selected. A glossy, blush-free finish. Selected. EXPL. Hydrated wash primer is a wash primer that has enough water added to properly convert the phosphoric acid to a phosphate film on the metal. When this primer is applied to the surface, it is ready for a topcoat after it has been allowed to cure for at least 30 minutes. It should produce a glossy, blush-free finish. Reference: AMTSTRUC Chapter 3. Okay. Next. Question 12 of 15. What is used to slow the drying time of some finishes and to prevent blush? Not selected. Retarder. Selected. EXPL. Retarder is a special type of thinner that dries slowly. It is used in dope and lacquer to slow its drying time. The slower drying time prevents blushing and provides a smoother finish. Okay. Next. Question 13 of 15. If registration numbers are to be applied to an aircraft with a letter height of 12 inches, what is the minimum space required for the registration mark N1683C? Note: 2/3 x height equals character width. 1/6 x height equals width for 1/4 by 2/3 height equals spacing. 1/6 x height equals stroke or line width. Not selected. 52 inches. Selected. EXPL. Registration numbers and letters that are 12 inches tall or 8 inches wide. The number 1 is 2 inches wide. The spaces between the characters are 2 inches. The minimum space required for the number N1683C is 52 inches. Okay. Next. Question 14 of 15. What is the usual cause of runs and sags in aircraft finishes? Not selected. Too much material applied in one coat. Selected. EXPL. Runs and sags in the surface of paint that has been sprayed are normally caused by applying too much material in one coat. Okay. Next. Fungus. Question 15 of 15. Fungicidal dopes are used in aircraft finishing as the not selected first coat to prevent fabric rotting and are applied thin enough to saturate the fabric. Selected. EXPL. Fungicidal dope is used for the first coat applied to cotton or linen aircraft fabric. It is thinned enough to allow it to thoroughly saturate both sides of the fabric. The purpose of fungicidal dope is to retard the formation of fungus and mold, which would cause the fabric to rot. Reference: AC 43.131b. Okay. Pause. Button. More options.